So as I'm sure you all know by now, the massive 3.0 update was just announced for Animal Crossing New Horizons, launching on January the 15th, as well as a new Switch 2 edition for the game as well. The 3.0 update is for people on the original Switch, the Switch Lite, the Switch 2, whatever, so you can all enjoy this. With, of course, the Switch 2 version being exclusive to that console. There are a ton of hidden details in here, including some massive new features like bulk crafting that Nintendo didn't mention. So I wanted to give a full deep dive into the trailer and go over literally everything that you might have missed. There are a ton of new details in here which I think will get you even more excited for the update, so let's check them out. First of all though, if you're excited for the video, drop a like, I would really appreciate the support on my content, and let's jump straight into this. Now, I'm going to keep the Switch 2 section of this fairly brief as, of course, it is limited to a much smaller segment of the community, but one thing that I did want to mention, which is exclusive to the Switch 2 version, but incredibly cool, is the new megaphone item which you can purchase from Nook's Cranny. Now, I say new, this was actually an Animal Crossing New Leaf, and since the Switch 2 has a microphone, you can use it to call out to and find your villagers. I'm really happy this is returning, and I know some players might be a bit disappointed this is only for Switch 2, but they've only done that because the original Switch literally doesn't have the microphone option. Another exclusive feature for the Switch 2 is being able to play with up to 12 players, which is crazy, but again, I don't feel like you're missing out on too much here with the original Nintendo Switch. Nintendo has been pretty fair in giving the bulk of the new exciting content to people over on the original Switch and Switch 2, which I'm personally very happy about. The Switch 2 version I've seen is about $5, so incredibly reasonable, definitely worth it if you absolutely love this game and play it a ton. So I think I'll be purchasing, and let me know in the comment section down below if you plan on getting it too. But now onto the 3.0 update where the bulk of new content is, and a ton of hidden new things too. Now, we start things off with an expanded dock where there is now a hotel. The dock has been turned into an absolutely massive thing now, where Cap'n still resides at the end, so you can take those island tours, but he will now be running a hotel alongside his family. And all of the characters back from Animal Crossing New Leaf are present here with new outfits which look incredibly cute. Cap'n even has a new permanent outfit as well on the dock. He's not wearing what he originally did now that he's a hotel worker. The hotel is effectively like Happy Home Paradise, but for free, where you'll be able to decorate different rooms in the hotel for villagers that you can invite or who will appear. Now, a lot of people haven't seemed too excited about this, as of course it is so similar to Happy Home Paradise, and I can understand that, but I think having a free, more basic option in the game for those who can't afford the DLC is still really nice. And since this is tied into your actual island, it has some really unique features which make it incredibly cool that I haven't really seen anyone point out. For example, the villagers who have rooms in your hotel effectively act like extra villagers on your island. Everyone's been asking for more than 10 villagers. Well, this is kind of an alternative way of doing that, as I believe they can actually wander around your island. That is so cool, so they're not just stuck to the hotel it seems like, they can actually have a little wander around and explore, which I think is really neat. That definitely makes the game a lot more exciting as you can run into a lot of really interesting tourists, so that's a great new feature I think. With Happy Home Paradise, you can invite your existing villagers to the archipelago, but here you'll run into the tourists around your own island, which just makes every day feel a little bit more exciting. It's kind of like getting a campsite villager, but they're actually walking around. Of course, the main reason why you want to be designing these hotels and such is you can get these tokens which you can exchange for exclusive items. And it looks like there are a bunch of exclusive items you can get here, which is really neat. So this is very similar to what they did back in Animal Crossing New Leaf, where you would get the tokens for doing mini games. There are some, of course, who are just based around the hotel itself, like a little globe and such, and a rug. But there are other really cool ones that are just more generic. For example, there is the new Tubular series, which hasn't been in the game before, so that's incredibly cool. So it looks like they're adding in a ton of new items. They've also expanded some series like the Kitty series with some really cool new things. So I expect to see quite a decent amount of new items for us to be able to collect through here, as well as some new outfits as well, which you can easily change into. It really is like a scaled down version of Happy Home Paradise, but I think that's super cool. It just expands our own island a little bit more, and we were all asking for more to do on our own island. Another neat thing as well is your friends can actually come in here and get change and everything, and you can play with them, and it's really, really neat. It does make me wonder if your friends will actually be able to go into the hotel rooms with you and maybe do some designing, as they showed off similar things to that later on in this video. That would be really cool, but regardless, I love that there's a new place you can go with your friends. It is kind of similar to Tortimer's Island. I do know a lot of people were disappointed the mini games didn't return, but let's be honest, they're going to save that for the next Animal Crossing game. They're not just going to give us everything here. Also, I know some people have been worried that this might mean we won't see a new Animal Crossing game soon as it's such a big update, but don't worry, this is exactly what they did with Animal Crossing New Leaf, and yet we still got New Horizons, so don't panic. You can also invite characters in with Amiibo as well, which is really cool, so they can live in your hotel, which just feels really, really nice to think that they'll be around your island. I really hope that maybe there's a chance that if you do invite them to your hotel, that means maybe they'll wander around your island at certain points, or it might even mean that you can at least see them in the lobby, so that would be really cool. Now, one of the biggest things they showed off in this that they just neglected to mention whatsoever is bulk crafting. You can now bulk craft, which is insane, a feature we've been asking for since literally day one. I know for a lot of people this might feel a little bit too late, but it's honestly better late than never in my opinion, and I'm so glad it's here. I just love the fact that they didn't even mention this. They genuinely did not say anything about it, but you can see it here, which is so cool. It's in the section of the video where they're showing that you can kind of craft some special items to kind of show off, I guess. I didn't really understand exactly what they meant, to be honest, with this particular feature. But it looks like you can craft special island items to sort of show off outside the hotel maybe, and you can get some special tokens for them, I guess. So there's different ways of earning those tokens and getting the really cool exclusive items. Cap'n will be the one who delivers them, which is kind of similar to some things that I remember from Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, so it feels like they've shared some ideas there. Of course, they move on to quality of life updates, and there are a lot of really good ones aside from bulk crafting that you want to know about. For example, you can now expand your storage even more. It can go up a ton now, all the way up to 9,000, which does show they're going to be adding in a lot of new items. But now there's also a plant section where you can add in trees and bushes, so no more keeping them in your inventory when you're decorating, which is a huge, huge change. Don't forget that in the last 2.0 update, they allowed us to put custom recipes in our inventory, something they didn't even mention. So I wonder if there might be other hidden quality of life changes too that they haven't brought up here. Resetti can now also be found around your island and will offer a special service where he will clear out parts of your island for you, which is so useful. You can choose from different sections of where you want to clear out, and this is going to be great for those of you who have let flowers completely take over your island. They can now go straight into your inventory, which is great. I guess that's exactly why they allowed us to put trees and bushes and stuff in our inventory. So it's an amazing quality of life update. This is something that, again, would have been great to have years ago, but I'm just glad we've got it now. I think it's going to add a lot of longevity to the game in terms of decorating, as you can design things and experiment and not have to worry too much about whether it's going to look bad or you have to take all the time to get rid of it. You can now simply get Resetti to take it away. I also love that Resetti now has become a proper core part of the game. He's not just hidden in the roost and a part of the rescue service. He's actually wandering around and you can physically see him and interact with him, which is the kind of stuff this game needed more of. An absolutely huge one for people who love designing and have wanted to kind of start over a new island without resetting is the new Dream World, where you will effectively be able to create up to 3 different island spaces which you can decorate to your heart's content. It's using a lot of the same decorating features that we had in Happy Home Paradise, I believe. It's very similar to that, where you have a lot of free options just to put items down. It isn't just in your inventory. This is incredibly cool for designers, and I think just people who have gotten a bit bored with their current islands, but don't want to restart. And it looks like all your progress will be saved here each time, so it's not like it's just a blank canvas that you'll lose each and every time. You can basically create secondary, third, fourth islands, which I love. You can even invite your villagers to live here, which is super duper cool. I'm guessing this feature won't be unlocked for new players right away because it is so huge, and I'm sure they want them to focus on their main islands, so it'll probably come a little bit later. So it might be worth making some progress now in New Horizons if you want to be able to unlock this sooner rather than later. But for people who have already put in hundreds of hours, this will be available right away, I'm sure, and that'll be incredibly useful to have. Once again, it very much does feel like they've taken a lot of what they had in Happy Home Paradise and a lot of those features and quality of life and brought it into the main game, which I do think is fantastic. I know for some people it might feel a bit samey, but let's remember Happy Home Paradise is a paid DLC, so just having this here in the base game is a win-win situation for everyone really. You can even choose the island sizes and things too and make really small ones, so this is going beyond just creating a new island that's the same as what you've got on your main game. You can really change it up in drastic ways. You can also play online with your friends here, which is crazy. You can decorate together, which is absolute chaos and something we've never been able to do in any Animal Crossing game before. Is anyone else getting the vibe that this kind of feels like a demo for an Animal Crossing MMO? I could definitely see them working on something like this even more majorly for the next Animal Crossing game. This very much feels like a sort of test for having lots of players working online together and decorating, something that I definitely think they're going to try more next time around. So yeah, that's absolutely amazing that you can effectively create an island with your friends. That's going to add so much longevity to the game, so many fun challenges that can be done with that, all kinds of cool like speed runs and such, and of course on Switch 2 you can play with even more people, so it's going to be absolute madness and chaos, but I love that. Now, something completely new in all forms is the new collaborations that we are getting in the game. Now, some of these are based on what we got back in Animal Crossing New Leaf's Welcome Amiibo update, but most of it is actually completely new, including new villages and new items. For a start, there are a bunch of the Nintendo-themed items like the Ultra Hand, Ultra Machine, the Switch 2, the Famicom Disk System, and you can even actually play games on them like you could in the original Animal Crossing game, which is crazy. I can't believe they did that. This is exclusive for online subscribers though, so I will note that. But I still think it's really cool, and of course you can pick up a trial of the Nintendo Switch Online if you want to. They've also added in a completely brand new LEGO collaboration to the game with a bunch of new items. This has never been in any Animal Crossing game before, and of course it represents the real-life Animal Crossing LEGO collaboration that we got. So I'm glad that these two companies are kind of close now and they're doing things like this. Some of these items look really, really cool, and whilst they might not be my personal island style, I could imagine some of the lazy villagers having them in their homes, like Bob, so they're really, really neat. And I love the fact that this isn't just a rehash of stuff from New Leaf, this is actually completely brand new to this game. Now, some of the stuff that is kind of returning from New Leaf, half, is the Legend of Zelda collaboration. So there's a lot of it which is returning from New Leaf, I believe, but it's also based on Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, which is brand new. So that's really cool. We're getting some amazing new items from those games. Tulin is also a new villager, which they are adding in, of course. We also have Mineru. Now, I've seen some people disappointed that we're only getting these two, but I will say, don't count your cards yet. Nintendo has not denied that we will be getting characters like Wolf Link and all of the other Zelda collaboration villages yet. These are just the two they decided to show off. We definitely could get all of the others to return as well. So don't feel like they won't be coming back. We don't know yet. There's a chance it might just be these new ones and we won't get the old ones. But at the same time, there was data in the game years ago for all the villagers like Ganon and Epona and such. So I don't see why they won't return here. And regardless, the fact that we're getting incredibly cool new villagers in 2026, no one saw that coming, so I can't complain either way, even if the old ones don't return. Cece and Viche are returning, however, but this time they are based on Shiva and Fry from Splatoon 3, so they have received an aesthetical update, which is so cool. I love that. There's also a ton of new Splatoon items that are being added to the game, which I love. Big Man has been turned into a sofa, which is hilarious if you're a Splatoon fan. Yeah, there are so many amazing new items and wigs and outfits that you can get for Splatoon 2. So, I mean, it's so impressive. I love the fact that these collaborations have come back to the game, but it's not just a rehash of what we got from New Leaf. It's actually new stuff as well, updated for the current year and the games which have released since. I think that's so exciting. Now, I don't want to speak too soon as this is not confirmed yet, but it did look like auto-terraforming might now be a thing. Just due to how the character was moving in the footage I'm showing on screen, they were kind of sliding along like auto-terraforming could be a feature, and I've seen other people point this out as well. So that could be another feature that they might have hidden in the game, which would be really, really cool. I don't know exactly how that would work yet, but I did want to point it out. I also do want to say for people, if you are kind of hoping for certain things that they didn't show off here, there is still a chance we might get them when the update actually launches. For those of you who remember the 2.0 update, there were a ton of things within that update that Nintendo never shared or talked about in their trailers, and the bulk crafting in this proves that factually. Now, I'm not saying there'll be hidden things like new mini-games and such, but I definitely think there'll be a lot of other quality of life updates and items and perhaps some of those returning villagers in this update that they haven't mentioned yet. So we'll definitely keep an eye out. I'm going to have a ton of coverage about this game leading up to it in January, as there's just so much to talk about. But yeah, this is a fantastic update and I absolutely cannot wait to play it. I'm just so looking forward to getting my hands on this. I think it's going to add a lot of longevity to the game, especially with some of those new online things. So yeah, definitely very excited. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Are you excited for the 3.0 update? If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications for more.